Visit villageconnects.com today to learn about our 12-week virtual mentoring program for individual families with middle and high school students. Village Connects will partner with you with a gender-specific mentor, and we will help create the blueprint for life after high school. Do you want to learn more? Contact us today at villageconnects.com. We bring the village to you. villageconnects.com. Welcome to the 15th episode of the VK Community Podcast. The title of this episode is called Smart Investing. We will have our special guest on the show, Mr. Ken Blanks-Harrell with the Bullish Institute. He's going to talk about smart investing and also teaching youth to be financially literate at a young age. We will end the show with our positive remark for the week. We hope you enjoy the show, and thanks for listening. Welcome to the Village Connects podcast. I am your host, Mind Chase. For our youth, it takes a village, and I'm happy to bring it to you. I'm ready to get into it. Let's go! Hello and welcome to the 15th episode of the VK Community Podcast. This episode we're talking about smart investing. But first I would like to just give a thank you to all of our listeners. We have surpassed 1,400 streams and downloads for the VK Community Podcast with over 1,000 unique listeners. So we appreciate it. Gives us the inspiration to motivate you to keep listening. So we thank you from the bottom of our heart. But to get to the topic at hand, we're talking about smart investing. And everyone is trying to come up with a hustle, especially during this pandemic. A lot of us lost our jobs, our salaries were reduced. We had small businesses that were closing at an alarming rate, and some people were even using their 401ks to stay afloat. Many of us had to reinvent ourselves and become more creative to survive. This is a time where your investments, savings, and credit can help you survive. And if you didn't have a plan before the pandemic, I'm sure many of you are working on that plan right now. I wish they taught us more about credit when we were in middle and high school. In the United States, credit is one of the most important factors in creating opportunities for yourself. The credit card companies, man, they slick. I remember when I was a college freshman and I had to go to this student orientation. Now, in this student orientation, we got all the information that we needed as a college freshman. But they cleverly had tables of representatives from credit card companies. These people were giving away prizes like T-shirts and college gear and all type of stuff like that. All type of stuff that freshmen would like. So I'm sitting there at the orientation and I'm noticing that people are walking around with this cool basketball. I had the school colors on it with the logo on it. I asked one of the students and I said, "Where'd you get this from?" They pointed me to one of the credit card tables. So I'm like, all right, I want to get me a free basketball. I'm going to go and sign up for this credit card. I didn't know what I was signing up for, but after I was done, they said, "Congratulations, you have a credit of $500. And I'm like, $500? Like, yeah, you have a credit of $500. You have $500 on this credit card. You are free to use it as you please. Now, I'm 18 years old, so I didn't really ask how the whole credit card thing worked. But what I did find out is that it did work when I tried it at the mall later that day. I saw some very expensive Timberland boots. I don't know if you guys know where Timberland boots are, but Google that Timberland boots. That was a big thing back in the day, and I'm sure it's still a big thing now. These Timberland boots were cream and they were gray. So I followed all the steps to get my card activated, but I didn't believe that I had $500 on the card, so I was a little skeptical at first. I didn't want to use it, but those boots, they were fire. I mean, they were hot fire, so I had to grab those boots, and I grabbed it, and I went to the register. I gave the store clerk my credit card, and to my surprise, it worked. I was so excited. After that, I'm like, all right, well, what else can I buy? I went to a clothing store that had velour suits, velour jogging suits. Those were also a thing back then. I used to love velour jogging suits, and I saw one that was gray, and it was expensive, but it was gray, and it matched the Timberland boots So I said, I got to get that. So I ran the credit card again, and voila, it worked again. Now, with those two purchases, my credit card was pretty much maxed out, but I didn't care. I had the dope outfit. And there was a freshman party later on that day. And I even had a date, so I was going to be sharp for that party. So I didn't care what I spent. I knew I was going to be fresh to death. Fast forward to the party, it was all type of people that were there, and it was a blast. I mean, people were passing around drinks and having a good time. Now, I know that sounds like a terrible idea right now with Corona, but this was pre-Corona, so just imagine how far we've come. So I was given a drink that was really green. I've never had a green drink, but hey, I was a freshman. I was going to have a good time. Pre-Corona, I'm going to have a good time. I asked the dude, I said, what is this I'm drinking? And the dude said, well, these are called Incredible Hawks. If you don't know what Incredible Hawk is, it is Hennessy and Hypnotic. And you mix those two things together and it creates a devastating liquid that can have some altering effects on your judgment. So I took a sip and I thought it tastes pretty good. But the guy warned me, don't drink too much too fast because this drink is pretty strong. Now, me being the competitor that I am, I took that as a challenge personally. I thought, are you insulting me? So I downed four of them. Four of them straight, right in his face. Four of them. Looked at him and told him, like, you must not be man enough to hold your drink. And I walked off. 30 minutes later, someone at the party approached my date and told her, hey, check this guy out. There's a guy that was passed out on the floor next to the toilet. Yeah, it was me. There I was laying on the floor in my expensive velour suit and my cream Timberlands. And that's not all. So we had to leave the party and my date was driving me home. We got off at the highway because she needed gas. And the whole time she was driving, my head was spinning like crazy. When the car stopped, my body, it couldn't take it anymore. I threw up everything that I ate that day on my brand new velour suit and cream Timberlands. And that's not all. So I'm feeling a little better because I threw up a little bit. And my date gets out the car and starts to go and pump the gas. So I turn around in my state and say, no woman of mine is gonna pump gas if you with me. Give me the money, I'll go in there, and I'll pay for the gas. So she didn't fight. She gave me the money. I went in there, and I paid for the gas. Now, mind you, there were 5 or 6 people in the line at the store paying for gas. And I had my brand new velour outfit that I was laying on the floor next to a toilet. God knows at a party how many misfires were there, and I was laying in urine. But I also had vomit that was, fresh vomit, maybe 5-minute fresh vomit that was on my velour suit and my Timberlands. But I still went in the store, and I stood in line. Now, my head was spinning so bad, part of me knew that people were staring and even discussed it. But I couldn't do anything in the state of mind that I was in. I really had a hard time just focusing and standing up. So I paid for the gas, and then I went outside back to my date at the car. And that's not all. So I get back to the car, and she starts to get out the car and says, okay, you done enough. I can pump the gas if you just sit in the car. Me still trying to be charming. I said, no, you are never going to pump in the gas when I'm with you. So I started the process of pumping gas. I don't know where the breakdown in the process was, from grabbing the gas nozzle and lifting it to unscrewing the gas cap. I sat there on the side of the car, standing there, passed out, pumping $30 worth of gas on the trunk of this poor lady's car. Now, it's safe to assume that we didn't work out. But I woke up the next morning and my gray-colored velour suit, my cream Timberlands, they were completely ruined. I paid $500 to embarrass myself as a freshman and give myself a horrible hangover. I was even more disgusted when I found out I had to pay all that money back with interest. You feel me? All right, that ends this segment. We're going to go to a commercial break. We're going to come back with our guest, Ken Blanks Harrell of the Bullish Institute, to talk about smart investing. Should be a great topic and a great conversation. This is Mind Chase with the VK Community Podcast. We'll be back in a moment. Village Connects offers a 12-week virtual mentoring program for middle and high school students up to 10th grade. We have partnered with Google Workspace to provide the communication and technology. Our VK Student Success Workbook helps youth to create a plan after high school. Village Connects is seeking partnerships with schools all across America to help youth create a path for success. Our 12-week virtual mentoring program is gender specific, and students will establish positive relationships with professionals. Contact us today to learn more. Visit villageconnects.com. It takes a village. Let us bring the village to you. villageconnects.com. All right, VK community, it's time to show your love and support for our guests because we have an interview. All right, so we have our special guest here on the show. This gentleman, I've known him for a long time, and he has been involved in so many different things, has his hands in so many different pots. But one of the things that he is really good at is not only knowing about investments, but teaching investments. I want to welcome to the show, Mr. Ken Blanks Harrell. Welcome to the podcast, Ken.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be amongst great company. And
appreciate that.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited, man.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. And I talked a little bit in the intro, about you, but tell us about yourself, and you can even talk a little bit about the Bullish Institute.
Okay, awesome. Well, Ken Blanks Harrell, born and raised Detroit, Michigan. Mind Chase and I know each other from way back in the way, before I even got named Blanks, before I even earned that nickname. So we go all the way back to the beginning. And I've been known to be like a serial entrepreneur. I'm one of Detroit's sons. If it's been a way to get out the hood and try to make $1 million, I've tried it, right? You name it, I've tried it. From restaurants to radio shows, television, entertainment, concerts, comedy, nonprofit, you name it. I've had my hands in it. And
wow.
I've learned a lot. And through learning a lot and growing a lot, there's a lot to teach, right? A lot to share. And I believe firmly that each one should reach one and teach one so that we can make another one better.
That's awesome. So part of the Bullish Institute, I know you guys have a big area that you focus on with stocks. So what made you get into stocks? We learned a little bit about that when we were younger and in high school,
yeah.
but what made that be something that you wanted to focus on? And you've been really successful, but where did that start?
Really, you kind of threw it out there. High school. I remember, it might have been my senior year, Detroit Renaissance High School, Mr. Hutkins, who was the econ teacher at that time, and also I believe he was also the tennis coach. But I don't even think they teach economics in the public schools anymore. So we were blessed and privileged to have Mr. Hutkins teach us econ, and one of our projects was he had us to track out the newspaper the performance of what was like Kmart stock, right? Everybody had a stock.
Okay.
The one our team was assigned to was Kmart. And I just kind of noticed that it grew, over those, months that we were tracking it for the assignment, and it made me, see the value of putting money to work versus putting it to waste. And, being very impressionable in high school, coming up in the, late 90s, it was all kind of, fashion and cars, and we were influenced by music and entertainment, just different things where, getting the latest pair of Jordans was what was popular, right? Spending $200 for a pair of gym shoes versus at that time, we could have got Nike stock for $5 a share, and now it's trading nearly $200 a share. So we could have, instead of buying that pair of shoes, 20 years ago or whatever, we could have, bought the stock and now it's grown to the point where we could have gotten 8 free pair of Jordans and still had $1,000 of cash left over.
Exactly.
So just learn value, how money really, really works. Because other than that econ class I had one time in high school, there was no other class that I've ever had from kindergarten to grade school or high school that ever taught us financial literacy, right? Yeah. We learned all kind of math, right, from algebra to trigonometry to Pythagorean theorems and all this kind of stuff we never used, but then learn how to balance a checkbook, right? Didn't learn the importance of saving and investing for the future, or the importance of real estate, home ownership, or credit, having good credit. So that's why we have the Bullish Institute of Financial Literacy, to help educate, enlighten, and ultimately to empower underserved and overlooked communities in urban America.
That's awesome. What made you actually start this company? Like what experience did you have to know that, all right, I want to give back, and I want to give the community different options to think about their future in terms of investing? What sparked that creativity for you to come up with this company?
Man, that's a great question. I want to say I was more encouraged, right? Sometimes the people you keep in your circle, right, mean the most, and a friend to give you confidence for life, right? So it was the encouragement. Because I've been investing. Man, I started my first investment club when I was like 18, right? Fresh out of high school. So maybe my first year of college, had an investment group, and we have like summer internships, and would save my money from summer internships and invest that into the stock market. And the stock market was, basically how I paid for college for the most part. I mean, I had some scholarship money and some, work study type stuff. But other than that, it was the stock market. And then I learned as an adult, getting out here in the world, having jobs, I would take money and I would invest it in things like the 401k and but always in the stock. So I was kind of, mentored by some of my deans when I went to Northwood University in Midland, Michigan.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Northwood.
They kind of mentored me, and taught me the game, right? They kind of took me under their wing. I had an interest in banking and finance, and, they just kind of took me under their wing. I remember one of the dean of students at that time, Dean Nash, had a license plate that said Yahoo. You know what I mean? So I'm taking you back to like 99, 2000. But,
telling our age a little bit.
20 years ago, Yahoo and Amazon weren't the most popular companies, or eBay, in the world. But that's back when .coms were very popular in the stock market space. And so people made a lot of money. And actually that was kind of how I helped pay for college, was through I made some good money back in the day when I was younger in the stock market. And then I took, proceeds from that and started to invest in real estate, and just became a student of the financial literacy game. And as I got older in life, I saw how, those tools, resources, and strategies helped me to be stable, to be, you can live life differently when your money is in a train wreck. And for a lot of us, that's the elephant in the room, especially in low to mid income communities throughout America. We don't, we get the things that our parents passed on to us, and they got the things that their parents passed on to them. But for most of us, what was passed on was not generational wealth or financial literacy and wealth practices. We got passed down, different things, but that wasn't it, right? So. Yeah, so this is my way. I was inspired to kind of attack the elephant in the room. Like, this is if the basic reading and writing levels in America is at a 5th grade level, just imagine what the financial literacy rates are.
Yeah, that's deep, man. That's deep to think about. And I even think a lot of people take advantage of the fact that people don't know. There's so many opportunities out there, just like you mentioned, if you were investing in certain things like real estate and stocks when you were younger, and now you look at those investments and maybe they have tripled or quadrupled from your initial investment. Now you're sitting in a better spot. But the lack of education, I think it makes it hard for people to grow and capitalize on those opportunities. It kind of brings me to my next question too about the Bullish Institute. You've been doing that for a while now, and I'm pretty sure that I actually know that there are a lot of people that are getting into stock, especially because of the pandemic. They are downloading things like apps like Robinhood and Fidelity, and they're
Mm-hmm.
downloading these apps and they're trying to uh, just jump into stocks without the information, without actually knowing what to do. So, what do you think is the biggest misconception of owning or trading stocks for newcomers that you've experienced?
Man, that's a phenomenal question. I would say it's kind of two-part because, like most things in the world, things operate in what's called duality. So there's always going to be two polar opposite ends of the spectrum. I think for a lot of newbie investors, their perspective is the challenging part, right? For those who are pessimistic, they are the ones who kind of buy into the the stock market is just it's a big risk and you're gonna lose all your money, right? So you have those naysayers, the doomsdayers that think it's just pessimism, it's a scam, it's a way to lose everything. And then I think you have the people who are overly optimistic of the results, right? They think it's the lottery, right? It replaces the casino. A lot of people got this pent up cabin fever because they've been on quarantine. They can't be at their casino and this and so. For some, the stock market has taken the place to satisfy that casino, lottery instant gratification urge because they're hearing about stuff like the Forex, they're hearing about the Bitcoin and the altcoin, the cryptocurrencies, and people are suffering from what's called FOMO, which is FOMO, the fear of missing out, right? Everybody feels they're missing the gravy train. And so actually statistically it's been proven that there's been, since the quarantine, 10 million new people have become retail investors in the stock market. So you mentioned some of those apps earlier, right? They're downloading the Robinhoods and the Stash and the Acorns and the Webull and the TD Ameritrades and even with the Cash App. Now on the Cash App, you can buy stocks and buy cryptocurrency. And so you have people sitting at home and first thing they do all day, every day, they're in their phones. They're downloading these apps. They're on the YouTube. They're watching videos. A lot of people are going through the self-education part and trying to learn the game. And then some aren't even taking that step to educate themselves. They're just jumping in the game with their money. And some of them are losing because they don't know the rules of the game. And the reality is why jump into any game 2 feet first that you don't know how to play? You don't know the rules of the game. You don't know the risk. You don't know the rewards. You don't know any of the parameters. You don't know the actual expectations, right? The ROI. So a lot of people go into investing on Wall Street and expect, to double up, triple up, quadruple up. This is a game where you win over time. Right? It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Not a sprint. Yeah. Not a sprint. Yeah. Well, I think that's good information for people to know because while you were speaking, I'm sure there were thousands of people who just downloaded an app and started trading without that valuable information, without actually knowing what to do or how to do it. Which brings me to my next question. You do offer a lot of insight. You have a lot of experience. If someone wanted to learn more, where can they go online to find you? Do you have any virtual classes or anything that you're able to offer right now? How can they get more of this information from you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I have on-demand webinars. I do open classes pretty much 2 to 3 times a month. Usually on Saturdays, you can catch me on Eventbrite. Look for Bullish Institute. Just like the normal spelling, Bullish is Bullish Institute, and you'll find us. And in addition to that, I offer private one-on-one classes for those who need it, private group sessions, you name it. And anyone who is tuned in to your show, Mind Chase, they can actually, I'll consult with them for free. Just because they're a loyal listener to your show, I'll give them a free consultation. They can just text or call 313-744-3489, and I will honor a free consultation just for everyone tuned in. Again, that number is 313-744-3489.
Make sure you call and text that number so that way you can get a hold of some valuable information for free. We really appreciate you offering your services to our podcast and to our listeners. That's truly a blessing, but it won't be a blessing if you guys don't act. So make sure you do contact that text number and make sure that you follow up so that way we can get you connected with the Bullish Institute, Mr. Ken Blanks Harrell. We have one more question that I want to ask, and I always ask all of our guests, and we ask them the same question. The reason being is I'm sure there's a parent here that's listening that they can maybe give some information back to their children or even people in their community. If it was one thing that you can tell yourself, your younger self, if you can go back in time and you can tell yourself something that will prepare you for the future, what do you think that would be, and what would you say?
I would tell myself to trust yourself more. I'm one of the people who kind of had a gift. Like, I always kind of saw it and had that right vision and outlook. But sometimes I'm the kind of person that I would pull out of a deal too soon because it was too good to be true. And I would cash out some of my blessings too early. Whether it was stocks, real estate, business ventures, I may be in something and run up and get, because I'm not greedy, right? So I might have got, who knows, 30, 40, 50% return, maybe 100% return. I might pull out and not realize, man, it ran up another 700% after I got out, or, you know what I mean? Like, oh, wow, I sold that property for X and now it's worth, oh, wow. Oh, I could have made an extra $300,000 if I had just been more patient on that property, or I could have made a, extra, whatever, 200 grand on this stock, these pool of stocks, because I knew it was on pop, but I was like, man, I've been riding it for 2 years or 3 years, and I'm like, I'm done. It's a dog. And then you wait 2 more years and then went through the stratosphere. So I would have just told myself, hey, man, you don't lack confidence. You got it. You got the right eye. Just hold on, sit tight, right? So I'm in a good space. I'm in a decent space. I don't have any regrets about my space, but I'm definitely down a couple million from pulling out too early.
Yeah, that'd be some good advice, man, to tell yourself. Especially if you can, capitalize on. I wish they did create that Back to the Future DeLorean where we can just hop back in time. And
I'm there. Yeah. I might not be the first one in line to take this vaccine, but if they come with the Back to the Future, I'm the first one in the DeLorean.
I did want to ask you one more question.
Sure.
So I did kind of lie. So you do offer trainings and teachings and classes for youth and for the younger kids, young teens, to get more familiar with investments. Talk a little bit about that. There may be a parent that's listening, and parents, this would be a great opportunity if your kid is someone who likes to be on the computer, likes to be on social media, doesn't want to leave the house, and have them learn about becoming financially literate at a young age. And this is a great opportunity. Talk a little bit more about what you do with the youth, with the Bullish Institute.
Yes, we have a special program called Bullish Teens, just like it sounds, Bullish, BULLISH, Teens, TEENS. And you go to bullishtheens.com. What we're doing is partnering with a number of youth outreach organizations and nonprofit organizations. We work with K through 12 schools and churches and libraries, and even higher education like the community colleges and universities. And we've been going all over. Before quarantine, we've been going all over the country, and we teach the youth the basics of financial literacy, the importance of saving and investing money, the importance of earning it, the different ways of earning, because everybody isn't going to go to college and everybody isn't going to have a corporate type career. So there are things like the skills trades, right? There's other things you could do from an entrepreneurial standpoint. There's youth who are doing things like product reviews and making millions of dollars on YouTube. I mean, it's just a number of things that you can make money now, from your opinion, right?
Yeah.
So
that's
it's
awesome.
a number of different things that's out here. So we partner with the youth. We're working on a scholarship program, as well as turning Bullish Teens into a 501c3 nonprofit organization, so that we can increase our ability to spread the awareness and the access to financial literacy. From real estate, we teach our youth about the importance of home ownership. Again, the importance of having credit, so they don't go blow their credit. I'm sure a lot of parents out there listening, if they could go into the Back to the Future machine, they would go back and tell their younger version themselves how to better manage their credit report,
Yeah.
And so we teach students that from a proactive standpoint, so they don't have to wait until they're in their 20s or 30s and all jammed up and can't buy their first home or can't make any power moves because their credit's all jammed up from, all the swiping they did from their teenage and years in their 20s. So things like that, the importance of insurance. Insurance isn't a sexy topic, but we work so hard to acquire the assets that we do have. Why not protect them, right? You can lose everything in the blink of the eye just by not having the proper, paperwork in place. Essentially, that's all it is, and anything can happen. If nothing else, I learned from 2020 that no day is, promised, right? Every day is a blessing. You could be here today, gone tomorrow, and if you don't have the proper insurances in place, what are you leaving your family a blessing, or are you leaving them a burden? And that's just because we don't do our paperwork to have the proper insurances, the wills, the trusts, because anything can happen. Anything can happen. And so if anything does happen, what's the plan? And I think it's our responsibility. I'm more speaking to the fathers out there. I'm a father of fraternal twins, right? They're 12 years old, right? So, what do I leave them? If anything happens, is stuff set up right? Or am I looking crazy? Is it half set up, or is it 25% set up, where I haven't even initiated any conversations or filed any paperwork, done nothing at all? So we all talk about getting the bag and securing the bag. Well, that getting the bag and securing the bag is two totally different things.
You hit the nail on the head. It sure is. Securing the bag is what I'm trying to do, as opposed to getting the bag. You can get it, but you got to keep it. You got to keep it. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, one more. So just give them, again, a lot of information, really good information. I'm pretty sure our listeners, they want more. How can they reach you again or where can they find you on your website again?
All that, yeah, all the ways. You can catch me at either Bullish Teens or Bullish Picks, like Stock Picks, PICKS, Bullish Teens, Bullish Picks, Bullish Institute, Bullish Boot Camp. We out here. Ken Blanks Harrell. You can look me up. I'm easy to find. I'll connect with you. Again, make sure you take advantage. I will do a free consultation with you. No strings attached. No obligations at all. 313-744-3489. That's 313-744-3489. And I'm highly visible on social media. They drop a lot of free jewels out there as well. So Instagram, if you're on IG, Ask Blanks, ASK, like ask a question, Blanks, BLANKS, like fill in the blanks. Go to Ask Blanks. I'm near on IG, Twitter, Ask Blanks, YouTube, Ask Blanks, Facebook, Ask Blanks. I'm out here.
Awesome. Make sure you check them out. Get some good information. Are there any last words before we go to our next segment for our show?
Yeah, just, Mind Chase, just to have folks to, not be selfish with the knowledge. You've been out here, providing the people with quality content and the things and information, the tools and resources they need. So I just encourage each one to reach one, right, to connect, follow you, grow the audience, more listeners, right, so we can reach one, and teach one. So all of that. Each one, reach one, so we can teach one and make another one better. That's
awesome.
the play.
That's it. That's it. And that's what Village Connects is all about. Mr. Ken Blanks Harrell, we appreciate you being on the VK Community Podcast. We wish you well. We thank you, and God bless.
Much love, much love. Mind Chase, this has been my pleasure. I'm humble, I'm honored and privileged to be here to share this stage with you and get out here and help spread some positive vibrations. That's what we need, especially in these times. We need some positive, we need something productive, constructive, and uplifting, and that's what this is. So I so appreciate you for this opportunity.
Amen to that. All right, we're going to go to a commercial break. We'll be back with our positive remark for the week. This is your boy, Mind Chase, with the VK Community Podcast.
Village Connects offers you an opportunity for you to give back to your community. Simply visit villageconnects.com. Submit a video to the VK Virtual Career Center. Visit villageconnects.com today.
All right, we're back. Really good interview with Ken Blanks Harrell. Really appreciate him coming on the show. But for this section, we have our positive remark for the week. One of my favorite parts of the show. The positive remarks title is called Bet on Yourself. We take a gamble every day. Every day you leave your home, you go to work, you're taking a gamble. If you work for someone, you get up in the morning, you try to get yourself together. You make breakfast, you leave your home on your way to work. Depending on where you are, where you live, your morning commute is going to be stressful. Some of you are spending 2 hours a day in commute alone. There became a point in your mind that it was safer for you to risk it for your employer. Many of us like to gamble with our money. Some of us are actually addicted to gambling, whether it's casino or scratch off, the lottery, sports betting. Most of these activities, you have a very small chance of winning. A casino is a reverse ATM. There are no clocks or windows in a casino, so you don't know what time of day it is. They serve food and drinks and try to make you feel as comfortable as you can. They pipe the sound of people winning slot machines in the speakers to give you the false sense that there is a chance that you could win too. People have lost their lives to casinos, and yet people still go and gamble, hoping that the casino will make them wealthy. We take many gambles in our lives, but rarely do we bet on ourselves. When you bet on yourself, there is no pulling out when it gets tough. You have to stick in there, you have to ride the storm. When you bet on yourself, you definitely would take losses. Taking a loss puts you in the path to success when you learn from it. I think many of us refuse to bet on ourselves because it's a lot easier to scratch off a ticket or pull a slot handle. If you have an opportunity to better yourself, then do it. Take that gamble. Whether it's going back to school, learning a new skill, becoming an investor, or even starting a business. Bet on yourself when the odds are stacked against you. If you choose to take a gamble on someone or something else, then that's your choice, but I'm going to continue to bet on myself. I can only pull myself out of my own gamble, but I won't because I want to be able to control my own destiny. This concludes the 15th episode of the VK Community Podcast. Make sure you subscribe wherever you receive your podcasts, whether it's Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts, wherever you receive it, make sure you subscribe. Also visit our YouTube page, Mind Chase, for motivational videos, and we want to hear from you, so send me an email at mindchase@villageconnects.com. We hope you enjoyed our show, and thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to this episode of the VK Community Podcast. Visit villageconnects.com. Remember to reach out to youth and help them. It takes a village. Let us bring the village to you. We out.